Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the best damn Panthers podcast in the whole entire world. No matter where you're listening, Primetime Carolina, baby. We do it right. Here with my co-host, Dave LaFave. I am Tanner Blue. Dave, what is going on, my man? 2-0, how's it feel?
What's up, man? 2-0 feels good. It's been a while since we've been in this position, so I'm excited. You know, obviously there's a lot to like with what we got going on with our team right now.
When's the last time we started 2-0? Like the year we went to the Super Bowl, 2015, I think?
No. Well, yeah, maybe. I want
We've
to
only
say
been to the playoffs one other time after that. That was 2017. I don't know if we were 2-0.
I want to say one of those years, 2017 or 2018, we were 2-0, but now that I think about it, maybe we weren't.
Have to look into that.
I was going to say, I'm usually pretty good with that trivia, but you surprised me with that one.
Hey, man, got to keep on your toes.
Yeah,
But
you got me.
Nonetheless, Panthers just, you know what, just whooping that Saints ass last weekend. And I was at the game. I know. You guys think I'm a season ticket holder. I'm not. I just get the nosebleeds and I go. Went to the game again last weekend. Had a complete blast. I will say this. They did fix the end zones, which fans complained about. They did bring back the keep pounding in a way, which fans did complain about. And atmosphere was pretty good. Man, we had an absolute blast. Got to the doghouse pre-gamed as usual. It's always a tradition. A lot of Saints fans there, but the Saints fans that I was near were actually really, really good sports. We were talking some trash, but it was all friendly, all good. But at the end of the day, man, the Panthers it really wasn't even a game. It wasn't. We owned from the beginning to the end. And I think what we want to start out with today is that Panthers defense. Dave, tell us, what are your thoughts on the Panthers defense so far this season?
Yeah, man, you can't talk about this game without, going on and on about this defense. I mean, they just shut the Saints down. I think a lot of what we saw was, I know the Saints were missing coaches and missing players, and I think because of that, a lot of people in the national media kind of point to those and say, oh, the Saints are missing this, Saints are missing that. And it was like, dude, if those players were there, I don't think it was going to make a difference because the Panthers just outclassed the Saints not today, but during this game. And if you go back and look at it, they were just out schemed, out hustled, out everything. And I look at a couple plays with, Hassan Reddick had, I think, 1.5 or 2 sacks, depending on how they ruled it. And, he came completely unblocked on both of those plays because he was just schemed right into the quarterback. And it's like, how do you have Hassan Reddick lighting up across from you and you don't even think to block him? So it's almost like the Saints, in a lot of ways, Sean Payton and their offense were almost arrogant, thinking that they could just do what they wanted to the Panthers defense. And then it completely backfired because they did not stand a chance. I mean, we knew this defense was going to be good. We were high on them coming into the season. We were thinking top 10, maybe top 7, but now it's looking like top 3 might not even be high enough to put them top 3. They might, be the best defense in the league. And, right now that's where they're sitting.
The Panthers are always the best when they get the least amount of media attention. So I'm cool with it. Listen, I know they had players out. I know they had coaches out. I think it would have made maybe a little effect. I still think the Panthers would have won this game. But I look at one player on the Saints team that tells me no matter what, Panthers were going to do this to him. Alvin Kamara, top 2, top 3 running back in the NFL. Look at the stats here. 8 carries, 5 yards. Are you kidding me? It doesn't matter who your assistant coaches are that's in there. It doesn't matter who your offensive line, defensive line, cornerbacks, linebackers, whoever's in the game. That right there, that tells a lot of the story. Yeah. I have never seen him, and he's on one of my fantasy teams, by the way, so it did hurt me a little bit, but I was able to overcome it because I saw it in person. But that just doesn't happen often. 8 carries, 5 yards. That's insane.
Yeah, and he's on both of my fantasy teams, Tanner. So I'm with you, man. But I always Fantasy never trumps reality in my book. So I was not rooting for him in any way. But with that being said, you cannot give this defense enough credit. You cannot give Phil Snow enough credit for what he has done. And I'm looking at you guys last year because some of you wanted him fired last year when that defense was looking pretty pathetic. And I can't lie, there were times where they looked pretty darn bad. But we saw the steady improvement as the year went on. We knew it was a young group. We knew it was a group that was still missing a few pieces. And in the offseason, they added a few pieces. Guys are growing into who are they going to be as players. They added guys like J.C. Horn, Morgan Fox, Hassan Reddick, Daquan Jones. And, man, it is just – they have built an absolute bully on that side of the ball. And it's just – there are studs everywhere. And on top of that, the scheme is just outstanding.
It's absolutely fantastic. If there's one thing I love about football, my favorite part is just a great defense. And even more in depth about that is a great defensive line. Look, you got Brian Burns. Guy's going to be a Pro Bowler. He should be an All-Pro this year. You've got the addition of Morgan Fox, who I think was super under the radar because I watched a lot of Rams games last year just because they were always nationally televised. He always played really well. I was quite shocked that we got him. He's been an absolute monster. You got Hassan Reddick playing a little bit of linebacker, playing a little bit of DN. Guy's been a monster. Gross Matos, he's coming in. He's doing what he needs to do. He's learning. He's getting better each week. Can't forget about Derek Brown. Dude is legit stuffing the middle. No one can run up the middle. Daquan Jones, he made a couple plays last week, and he's making his name known. Marquise Haynes coming in off the bench, getting some pressure. They got guys everywhere. You can never have enough good defensive linemen, and that's what I love about the Panthers. I've always loved about them is that they've always, for the most part, had a very, very good defensive line, and that's where it always starts for me.
Yeah, and you hear it talked about all the time. The Panthers have stud players at every level. They've got a lockdown corner. They've got a big-time safety who's, I think becoming one of the best safeties in the league. They've got an amazing pass rusher, really on both sides. They have two great pass rushers. You have Brian Burns, who's as quick as any defensive end or edge rusher. I don't know if you can call him really a defensive end the way he plays so versatile, but you have him on one side and you have Hassan Reddick on the other side who's, registered 5 sacks in an NFL game in his career. I cannot give the Panthers enough credit for what they've done on defense. And you know what? And this is why you got to listen to these podcasters like us who are made by the fans. Because earlier I was watching NFL Network and somebody was trying to give Joe Brady all the credit for the Panthers 2-0 start. So shout out to Phil Snow. This is a Phil Snow Stan podcast.
I love it. He's done a great job. And if you look at it, like you mentioned, there's star players everywhere. And moving on to the secondary, J.C. Horn gets his first pick of the year. I think I was watching it from the stands. I don't know if Jameis got hit or he just kind of threw a duck. It kind of fell to him like a punt, but nevertheless, it's a pick. I'll take that. Justin Burris had a pick. Jeremy Chin's been making plays. But the great thing is that you haven't been hearing the secondary's names a lot, and that's because they've been doing their jobs. I feel like in the secondary, when you don't hear their name a ton, that's because they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're covering the ball. J.C. Horn is almost shutting down a side of the field. Jeremy Chin's a ball hawk. He can come in and make a play. Secondary is playing really well. Dante Jackson, I know we criticize him a lot. He's played pretty solid. We got A.J. Boye is probably going to be playing this week. I don't know how many reps he'll be starting, but he will be playing. Chin, been playing well. We got guys all over the field.
Yeah, the fact that the Panthers are adding A.J. Boye this week, who is a guy who just a few years ago was seen as one of the best corners in the league, and now they're asking him to step in and play the nickel, and like you said, Dante Jackson, he's a guy that you and I have been critical of in the past, but he's shown up this year. Has he been perfect all the time like J.C. Horn? No, but that's okay. And what he's done in the run game has been the most impressive because that's been the big issue with him is missing tackles. This year he's stepped up and he's not missing those tackles, at the rate that he used to. He's making the plays when he needs to make the plays. So credit to him. Obviously he's been putting in the work and making us eat our words. And I couldn't be, more happy to eat my words, in that situation. So
I love it. I love it. I think right now we're the number one run defense in the NFL. A lot of people probably aren't going to give us the props for that, but I think in the weeks to come, people will start to realize this defense is legit. And if there's one thing you need to get to the playoffs and travel on the road, it's a good defense. Defense travels. So I'm very excited about that. Super pumped. Defense is killing it. So now we'll transition to the other side of the ball, the offense. Now, this is where I get not, I'm happy, but I just get a little frustrated sometimes just because of the potential. So take a look at Sam Darnold. 26 of 38, over 300 yards passing, two touchdowns, kind of an interception depending on who you ask. It was a weird play, but an interception nonetheless. He was sacked twice. What were your thoughts on Sam Darnold in game 2?
So, overall through 2 games, I've been very happy with Sam Darnold. I think, I don't want to say like I want him to keep pressing until he's doing too much, but I also feel like he still has a lot of room to grow. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean that I feel like he's not playing to the best of his capability yet. And I don't mean, and again, I'm not saying anything negative about him, but I'm saying I think he can do a lot of really good things when it comes to making plays other than just dropping back, taking what's there. I think he's the type of quarterback who can make plays that help you win games, even if, your defense isn't dominating the way the Panthers defense has been dominating. And I actually pulled up a couple clips just in case you asked me about this. Sam Darnold is capable of making some great plays. So on this play, he's going to roll a play action left. It's going to be a bootleg left. He's going to throw it back across his body, which is a very difficult throw for a right-handed quarterback, with a man in his face, with a defender on the receiver, throws across his body, gets the first down. That's a big-time throw. That's an Aaron Rodgers-esque throw. Not every quarterback can do that. That's certainly not the type of thing we saw from Teddy Bridgewater last year. No offense. I know he's having a great year, in Denver. Happy for him. But those are the type of things Sam Darnold can do that not all quarterbacks can do. On this play, more of the same. He's going to get some pressure from the left end. Cameron Jordan is going to get through. He's going to get his hand in Sam Darnold's face, almost knocks the ball away. Sam Darnold's able to hold on to the ball, recuperate, use that escapability, that playmaking ability, roll right. And honestly, as long as he doesn't try to do too much, and that's where he got in trouble with the Jets, he needs to find that perfect balance of being a playmaker but not trying to do too much. When you look at this play, he doesn't try to do too much. He gets out of the sack, rolls right, finds a man downfield, and threads the needle with a perfect pass to a diving Dan Arnold. So, these are the type of things that I've seen from Sam Darnold in the first couple games, that they're flashes. He's not doing it every play, but when he does it, you're like, oh, man, that's it right there. That's why he was a first-round draft pick. That's why he was number 3 overall pick, because he can do stuff like that. And with the talent on this offense, if he can start doing that more often, but not too much, like I said, it's got to be a perfect balance. If he can figure out a way to make these plays that aren't necessarily there after his first, second read, but he can extend the play and find these playmakers, along with the way the defense is playing, this team is so much scarier than people realize, because they have not scratched the surface of what they can be, especially on the offensive side of the ball, because of what Sam Darnold is really capable of that we haven't seen yet.
I just have to say that was probably the greatest film breakdown I've ever witnessed in my entire life.
Hey, man, that's what I'm here for. That's why you keep me around.
That was A+ material right there. So shout out to Dave. That was damn good. I like that. I mean, you pretty much just took the words out of my mouth, honestly. I feel the exact same way, and I think most Panthers fans feel the same way too, is that, we see these little glimpses and these things that just really make you excited because the offense, while they're doing well, they could do more. And I think a lot of that has to do with the play calling. And I think a lot of it is not Joe Brady, like, oh, Joe Brady sucks, like what kind of play call is that? I think it's a little bit more of them just being a little vanilla at first and trying to ease Sam into, the playbook, into the game, because I think me and you both know, I mean, he can make any throw, he can make any play, but I don't think they want to do that yet to ruin his confidence. It'd be a lot different if we're 2-0, but Sam Darnold has 3 interceptions and we're barely winning the game because he's turning the ball over, as opposed to Sam's taking what he can see, getting comfortable, relying on the defense. But the big difference is that last year we knew that we had to rely on the defense and to take what we can get because it's all we had. With Sam, we know that we can take what we have, but if needed, we can open it up a little bit. And I think in the next couple weeks, hopefully tomorrow night against a pretty mediocre to bad defense, I think you're going to see that.
Yeah, I think, tomorrow, tomorrow, Sam Darnold in the offense, I really just don't feel like they are going to have to do too much to win this game, because the Panthers, we went on and on about their defense here for the first 20 minutes or whatever it's been. They're going up against a rookie quarterback starting his first game, third game of the season. As long as they don't do anything stupid, they'll be fine, Make the easy throws, give the ball to Christian McCaffrey. You're going to win the game. And I think that's kind of probably what's been preached to Sam Darnold so far this season, and why we haven't seen so much of those, game-breaking plays. He's been more of a game manager. And I think that's just because the coaches have told him, you have Christian McCaffrey, you have talented receivers, you have a great defense. As long as you don't screw it up, we're going to win. And people are going to see you as a good quarterback. And that's pretty much what's happened so far. Now, as we get into the season, as we start playing stiffer competition, we're going to need Sam Darnold to make some plays. But that's what I like about where we're at, is we've seen that he can make plays. It's just going to come down to that balance of him not trying to do too much,
I agree 10,000%. What I really am looking forward to tomorrow is, I have no doubt in my mind that if this was a Ron Rivera-led team, we would go in tomorrow and it would be a very close game to the end. And that's something that always used to piss me off, was that, as Dante Jackson points at me on the screen, he says he knows.
So what's up, man?
Exactly. I would say that, I think the Texans are better than people are giving them. I will give them that. Granted, they are starting their third string quarterback. I think they are a little bit better than people are saying. I think with Tyrod Taylor, this would, be a closer game. I still would pick us to win, but, I want to see the Panthers not play down to competition. We are the better team. We know that. I want to see them go in and control this game from beginning to end. That's how I am going to know that this team is legit, that this isn't your mom and dad's Panthers that come in and hold a lead and then blow it. No, we're here to whoop ass and take this W, and we're going to show out doing it. That's what I want to see. I want to see a convincing win over a team that is much worse than us.
No, I agree 100%. I mean, that's what I expect to see. And anything less than that would be a disappointment, honestly. The way this defense has been playing and the way they're finally starting to garner some national attention, they cannot come out here and lay an egg. They have to dominate this Houston offense. Otherwise, no one's going to take this team seriously, because they're going to say, oh, they started out 2-0, but, they barely beat the Texans. They barely beat the Texans against a rookie quarterback. They have to come out here and dominate and ball out and make Davis Mills' life a living hell in his first start. That's what they have to do. And I think they will. The way this defense has been playing, with all their blitz packages and their stunts and everything that they've been doing, it's going to be a lot for a rookie quarterback to deal with, especially with all the speed and all the talent they have on defense. We'll see. I will be absolutely flabbergasted if the Panthers don't get a convincing win tomorrow night.
That's what I'm hoping for as well. I'll be extremely disappointed if it's not a convincing win. I mean, don't get me wrong, a win is a win. I'll take it, but this shouldn't be a close game. The Panthers should come in here and dominate, and that's what they need to do. That's what's going to make, put the league on notice. Because the week after that, we've got to go to Dallas, which Dallas has a bad defense, but they are a big market team. They have an explosive offense. All the attention is going to be on that game. They got to get prepared, and they got to get ready. So, I don't like overlooking opponents. I think that's always a recipe for disaster. I think they're going to get their minds right, go in there, take care of business tomorrow. Let's get to 3-0. And if we get to 3-0, man, I'm not saying we're going to win the Super Bowl, but I'm liking the direction. I think every Panthers fan knew that, looking at the season, that if we get to tomorrow, we would at least be 2-1. 3-0, I don't know if a lot of people were thinking that, other than me and you and some diehards who really thought how great this team could be. Looking at it now, 3-0 is very attainable, and so is 4-0. But we got to get past tomorrow.
Yeah, we got to get this win tomorrow. And it's interesting that, the Dallas game's coming up. That's going to give Phil Snow an extra half a week almost to prepare for that offense, which is great news because obviously that's a high-powered offense, but it's going to give him more time to prepare, see what he can do to attack that offense and force them into making poor decisions like he's done so far this season. I think what we'll see tomorrow from Houston is going to be a very, very ball control offense. I think they'll run the ball a lot. I think they will sit back. When they do pass, I think there'll be a lot of max protections. You only see 2 receivers go out for a pass probably. Everyone else stays into block. Try to keep Davis Mills safe. With that being said, I think, what the Panthers did in the last game was you already know the recipe to beat Jameis Winston. You stop the run, you get after him, and this is exactly what we talked about last week on the podcast. You get after him, he's going to start making mistakes, and that is exactly what happened. You get that pressure on him, you make him feel uncomfortable, you start, you get him playing from behind so he feels like he has to get it all back in one play, and that's what he's going to start doing. He's going to start chucking the ball up. That's exactly what he did. I don't see this game with the Texans being quite like that unless the Panthers can get out to a big lead early. I think Houston knows that they have no shot at winning this game if they don't control the ball, get first downs, tire that defense out, keep Christian McCaffrey off the field. I don't expect them to come out slinging it the way New Orleans was that got them into so much trouble and led to so many 3-and-outs.
No, I agree. I think it's going to be a ball control heavy game for Houston. They do have a couple weapons. I mean, they've got Brandon Cooks, who I always thought has been a very good player. I also wouldn't be surprised if they just come out and say screw it and just start chucking the ball, because why not?
Yeah, true.
I had a little bit of this right here, a very, very tiny bit of thought that just because we're the Panthers, that they were going to totally activate Deshaun Watson, have him play, and then have him go off.
Yeah.
That was always in the back of my head. But
you can't be a Panthers fan and not, expect the worst at this point. Like, when we were young, dumb, and naive, we still believed. But now that we've been through it so many times, we always just expect the worst is going to happen. And that's the only thing that really worries me about this game, honestly, is, not many teams could jack up this situation, but this is the Panthers we're talking about. So
this is the Panthers. So
no, the culture is changing. I do believe it is, but I don't know if those days are far enough behind us that we can be comfortable going into this game.
We will see. Kind of want to flip the script a little bit here. Let's talk about the offensive line.
Okay.
I think, and I could be wrong, I think over the last 2 games they've only given up 3 sacks. I could be wrong, but that's not. It's pretty solid.
Right. I don't know the exact numbers either. But
I know we gave up 2 last week, and I think 1 on week 1. I could be wrong. But offensive line, for the most part, they haven't been terrible. They haven't been great. They've been kind of middle of the road. What are your Excuse me. What are your thoughts on the offensive line so far in their performance?
I mean, overall, I would say, pleasantly surprised. I think in that New York game, I think there was a lot of pressure that wasn't sacks because Sam Darnold got the ball out quick, especially to McCaffrey. So I think there was a lot of situations in that game that probably could have made that sack total go up a little bit. But still, overall, I mean, I've been pleasantly surprised. They haven't been great, but they've been good enough, and I'm not mad about that. Of course, Elfline is going on IR, so it'll be interesting to see what they're going to do there.
I think that so I was reading up on that because I think so obviously he's on IR, but the game before that he got hurt as well for a little bit. Um, excuse me. So I'm interested to see where they go because I was reading I can't remember where I was reading it, but I think that Christensen was playing a little bit. I think he might have given up a sack. He wasn't playing super well, and I think that kind of limited the expectations for him. Let him know, like, hey, let the fans know. I think Rule said, hey, this guy's going to be a great talent in the future, but we got to slowly bring him along. He's not. I think during the preseason, everyone gets excited, like, oh, he's a rookie, put him in there. Like he's going to be good. Like, you have to. He's a second, third round pick. We got to let him develop a little bit. And the same thing with Deontay Brown. I think Rule had said that they were just kind of monitoring his weight because I think the guys. I mean, he's over 300 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, he can come in and bum rush people, but at the same time, that's a lot of weight to carry around for a full game and play the whole time. So they're managing these guys, bringing them in slowly. I think by the mid to end of the season, we're going to start to see that development. But it's kind of happening like I thought it would. Guys either wouldn't play well or they get hurt, and the rookies are coming in. I don't know who's starting on the line, in place of Elefine in this week. I haven't looked at the depth chart if they announced it yet, but this will be a good game for Christensen to come in and just kind of get his feet wet a little bit, I think.
Yeah, so I was actually looking at that a little bit right here. I figured Michael Jordan, John Miller, Dennis Daly, some combination of the three probably would go in at guard.
Okay.
Michael Jordan was on the COVID list. He just came off.
Gotcha.
But I believe Daly got hurt in that last game, at least for a little bit. So I'm not sure what his status is. I haven't seen his name on any injury reports, though.
I was seeing a lot of people gave him crap apparently last week. Now, granted, it's tough for me to say because I've watched these first two games from the stand, so it's hard for me to like zoom in and see what's going on. So I could be wrong. But a lot of people are saying he was getting beat a lot, kind of getting pushed around, which,
I can attest to that. I watched the last game on TV.
So, that is a bit concerning. But we'll see. Hopefully Deontay Brown gets some reps. Hopefully Christensen gets some reps, get these guys involved.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, we both want the same thing. We want to see Brown and Christensen get in there and be effective, but I don't think that's happening this week. So until that day comes, I think these three guys right here are pretty much what we're going to see at guard. Not the best bunch, but if they can go in and play well enough, play the way they've been playing, I guess I'll take it. So
now let me ask you a question. I could be getting a little bit too far ahead of myself here, but let's say the Panthers going into the trade deadline have a very, very good record. They're trending toward the playoffs. I would say that the offensive line is still the biggest concern. Would you see the Panthers maybe flipping a pick or something for a lineman to go into, or do you think they're going to stay put where they're at?
I would say it's more likely that they stay put just because I don't know. I just feel like Rule's comfortable with them, even though we all feel like they're not good enough. But at the same time, I wouldn't bet against Scott Fitterer trading for anything. The man loves to trade, apparently. So, and draft picks don't really seem to mean anything to him because he knows he can just trade back and get them back whenever he wants to, and apparently never miss on a draft pick because he really seemed to nail this draft. So, I would be for it. I think our offensive line could could be improved, and that would be a good thing. But we'll see.
It just reminds me of whenever we traded for Jared Allen like midseason, went to the Super Bowl, and they were like,
Yeah.
"Hey, we need a DN," even though he didn't do a ton, but they tried to make a move.
No.
There's a guy on your screen right now who I'm going to ask you about.
Okay.
Have the Panthers solved their kicking problem?
I'm gonna go with no, not for the long term by any means. And I think after the game, Rule even said, kicking is still an issue. Whether or not he was referring specifically to Gonzalez, I don't know, because there was a kick blocked, which obviously wasn't his fault because the defender pretty much came in unblocked on the play, but he also missed an extra point. So, I don't think he's the long-term answer, no, but he could be here for the rest of the season. That wouldn't surprise me at all.
I like Chase Blackburn as a person, and I liked him as a player when he played here for a little bit, but special teams hasn't been the best this year so far. Hopefully that will improve. I feel like our this is a weird thing to bring up, but our punting, Charlton, I feel like his in the preseason guy was an absolute monster. I feel like this year in the season it's just I don't know. I feel like we haven't really pinned a lot of people deep. Punts have been kind of It's kind of a hard thing to gauge playing field position.
No, I agree with
Honestly,
you. And especially in that first game, he had a lot of bad punts. And
yeah,
he was the one player, on our special teams that I was like, yeah, he's a good player. And he's been just as inconsistent as anybody. He's a punter, not a kicker, so people aren't going to notice as much whenever he's, not drilling the ball the way he's supposed to or pinning people deep the way he's supposed to. But he's been just as inconsistent as anybody. And like you said, special teams for us has never been a strong suit. And that's something I thought at one point during that Jets game is, these special teams are bad enough that they might cost us some games. So, yeah, I agree. We need to improve for sure.
no one really thinks about special teams until you start to see it happen. It's weird. Like you just always assume oh, it's special teams. Like how hard can it be? Like no, it matters. I don't know. We'll see. We've got the kicker situation going on. We've got the situation with the punter. I don't think Charlton's going to get cut or anything, but you want to see him improve. Is Shi Smith playing this game? I want to see him on punt return. I like the Erickson guy. He's not bad. He hasn't fumbled the ball. He hasn't done anything terrible, but I just feel like we could use some more explosiveness.
He should be available. I don't know if he'll play or not. I don't see it in this article. Whether or not he'll be in there. I know Gross Matos won't be playing this game.
Really?
No, he's dealing with an injury. I don't see anything about Shi Smith. So, not sure.
Okay.
Not sure if Shi Smith will be there or not.
I like how you stopped on that picture. I hope we wear the black pants tomorrow.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I like those.
They like to start the season in all white, it seems.
Yeah, that's always been the way. We've already started with the all whites, so let's change it up. Use the all the white tops with the black pants. I'd say this is actually a quick question for you. When you go to games or you go you see these lower tier jerseys where the Panthers the main color is like a kind of like a grayish a cement gray kind of color. Have you seen those jerseys?
Yeah.
I always have thought that the Panthers should have an alternate jersey where they should be kind of all gray. I think that would be badass.
Yeah, that might be kind of cool.
Kind of like the Seahawks have that.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Gray.
That's what I would compare it to too.
I think that would be cool. And I mean, they sell the jerseys. I don't know why they wouldn't do it, but I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Well, I think just NFL rules only allow you to have a certain number, and I think you only get 3. So I think they would have to do away with the blue one in order to do that, or one of them. True.
Yeah, I could see that.
But yeah, it's a cool idea.
I could see it. I don't know. I like our uniform combo for the most part, though. I want to wear the black pants. I think I like that the most. And then I think Cowboys are wearing blue tops, which is great. We always look great in blue.
Yeah, That's what's up, dude. Yeah. That's going to be a fun game. I don't mean to look ahead, but that's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a good test for us. Our defense has looked so good, but, if you're honest, they haven't played the toughest competition. 2 rookie quarterbacks and Jameis Winston, minus a bunch of coaches and players. So I'm not, looking past the Texans, but I am going to be excited for that game.
A guy I know is actually going, and he's a Panthers fan, so I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Sweet, man.
Excuse the yawning, man. I've been yawning.
No, I understand, dude. It's late, but we're so committed to the pod, man.
We are committed.
Yeah, we're committed to the fans. To the fans, man. We're committed to our
done it without you guys.
Adoring fans. Who is, probably just my mom and your mom. But
I will say, when we ran into each other in Charlotte, your mom did make me feel very well known when she, said that she had tuned into the show and she felt like she was meeting a celebrity.
Yeah, well, basically, I mean, somebody that she's seen on a screen somewhere else. What else is a celebrity than that? You know what I mean?
Exactly. But, for the most part, looking forward to tomorrow. My prediction, Panthers come out, handle this game. They win convincingly. Part of me wants to think in the back of my mind that, man, this is the old Panthers. They're going to come out, going to play down to their competition. It's going to be a close game. Man, the hell with that. I don't want any of that stuff. Let's go out there and let's play the best we can play. Let's completely rout the Texans.
Dude,
okay?
I just we
should have pitched a shutout last week, but
absolutely.
The fumble, interception, whatever happened, they get the ball back there close to the red zone. It's hard to keep them out. Let's pitch a shutout. I want to do it. I think the Panthers win convincingly. I want to see the offense play well, open up the playbook a little bit. Let's do it.
Yep. Davis Mills has to leave in a body bag.
Sorry, Davis Mills, I wanted you to be our number 1 pick whenever you came out of the draft, but, it has to be this way. I'm sorry. Leave it in a body bag.
Dude, I've always hated Davis Mills, man. I can't stand Davis Mills. That man is trash.
I actually heard a couple people like on the Panthers or the Carolina Huddle saying that they wanted us to pick him later on in the draft.
No, I liked him as a prospect, actually.
Is he a rookie?
Yeah.
Okay.
He went to Stanford. He kind of
right.
reminds me of like Eli Manning-ish. That's who he looks like to me when I watch him. Is, nothing really like special, but he can put nice touch on it.
Yeah. Well, I read online that, they were kind of looking at what Texans fans were thinking, because I go on this website called Carolina Huddle a lot. I'm sure most Panthers fans know about it. It's a good forum for Panthers talk. They always do a page like whatever team we're facing, like what those fans are saying on their like main forum. So they were talking about, what are Texans fans saying? And a lot of Texans fans were kind of saying like, the Panthers haven't really played anybody. They play the Jets, a rookie quarterback. They play the Saints. They had all these people out, not really, not giving us credit, but not really believing in the hype.
Isn't it amazing how every fan base can be just as brainwashed as yours?
I know. It's crazy, man. I haven't watched a ton of Texans game this year, so I'm not going to say like, obviously the general perspective is, the Texans suck. Deshaun Watson's not playing. Okay, I've watched a little bit. I don't think they're as bad. I think Tyrod Taylor, I feel bad for that guy because he always gets put in a position to be the starter. And he always gets hurt. Yeah. It sucks.
Yeah, I think they're overall like a pretty decent team, but I feel like that playmaking ability that Tyrod Taylor has is what gives them a chance to win games. Because other than that, they're pretty good, but probably not quite good enough to win games without a good quarterback. So, maybe Davis Mills is going to come in and shock us all. But as we've said before, against this defense, I have a hard time believing that's going to be the case.
I agree. Bottom line, tired of overthinking it. Panthers come in, play great defense. Let's open up the ball. Let's score some points. let's get in there. Let's win this game. Let's get to 3-0, and let's look forward to the Cowboys. But let's take care of business tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, man. You ready to wrap this thing up?
Yeah, man. My final thoughts are, we're doing exactly what I thought we would do, which is, a lot of people didn't think the Panthers, I know it's just 2 games, but a lot of people didn't think we'd be in this position. Thought we'd be 1-1, thought we wouldn't see Sam Darnold play that well, thought the defense wasn't all that. We've proved them wrong so far. Defense is playing elite. Sam Darnold's playing very well. Christian McCaffrey is Christian McCaffrey. And everything else, coaching staff seems to be gelling pretty well. I like what we're seeing. Let's get down to business. Let's keep doing what we're doing. Let's go in. Let's take care of it. Let's get to 3-0 tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Unbiased score prediction.
I'm going to say 27-13, Carolina.
I was going to say 27-6.
Okay.
I thought you were predicting the shutout, though.
I want to see a shutout, but something could be a garbage time touchdown.
Okay.
You never know.
All right. I'm going – how many picks is Davis Mills going to throw?
I think he's going to throw at least 2.
At least 2. I'm going to go with 2-2. How many sacks?
I'm thinking like 4 or 5 sacks tomorrow.
I'm thinking 5. Man, this is going to look really bad if we lose this game, but
it is. Actually, I might quit doing this podcast if we lose.
Dude, you ain't lying. All right. All right, everybody out there, thanks for listening. It's Primetime Carolina podcast, and we are out.
We'll talk to you guys. We'll do a breakdown after the game, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Keep pounding, baby.
That's right.